Welcome to iKM Media Week in Review. I'm your host, Rob Hislop. We're going to be taking a look at some of the stories that caught our eye over the past 7 to 10 days. And we're looking at stories that particularly have an impact on the environment, safety, and innovation as well. We're going to start things off with trains. You might think, why is that such a big deal for the oil industry? Well, as you might remember, rail cars are getting to be a lot more popular now with all the delays being caused when it comes to developing new pipelines. It appears now that the United States is ready to follow Transport Canada's lead when it comes to improving rail cars and the system currently in use. The U.S. is a little behind us because there appeared to be a difference of opinion between the American Petroleum Institute and the Association of American Railroads over what should be done. The Petroleum Institute had insisted the railroads improve their safety procedures, while rail companies said improved cars were needed. Now they are both in sync, agreeing to scrap a fleet of thousands of rail cars within 3 years if manufacturers agree that they can replace or retrofit the tank cars in that period. Transport Canada, for its part, has already initiated a 3-year phase-out of tank cars ordered before October 2011. A First Nations chief from British Columbia is taking Prime Minister Stephen Harper to task for his handling of pipelines and policies on climate change. Chief Aaron Sam is head of the Lower Nicolan Indian Band south of Kamloops. Now, the band's territory is crucial to the $5.4 billion Kinder Morgan expansion of the Trans Mountain Pipeline from Edmonton to the West Coast. The current capacity of the pipeline, 300,000 barrels per day. It's expected that that will triple. Chief Sam wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. In it, he claims we do not support the proposed project because of the possibility of an oil spill. While we know that the likelihood could be relatively low, we believe it is still a risk not worth taking. And if the Government of Canada doesn't take serious steps to address our issues, we will find it very difficult, if not impossible, to support the proposed pipeline expansion through our traditional territory. To read the whole letter, head to our website, iCanMedia.tv. A report by the Nunavut Planning Commission discovered what appeared to be rather obvious. Very little is known about how an oil spill would react in the north and what sort of efforts would be needed to clean one up. It acknowledges technology has come a long way in detecting the monitoring of spills, but this is for open water spills, not spills like those that would happen in the Arctic under the snow and ice. Another problem is there has been very little research that has been done, and what has been done actually oversimplifies the problem of an oil spill in the north, and that certainly isn't good enough for people who are living in the region. Well, it appears the uses for cotton may have expanded now to include being used for oil spill cleanup. Texas Tech University researchers have discovered that a low-grade cotton mat can actually collect up to 50 times its weight when it comes to oil. Now, the researchers were spurred on by the BP spill in the Gulf of Mexico. That incident got them thinking about developing environmentally sustainable materials for environmental remediation. Ever wondered who the top oil barons in the world are? Well, a study was done, and it turns out that a couple of brothers top the list. It is, of course, the Koch brothers. That's according to oilprice.com. The Koch brothers, whether you know it or not, they have a lot of holdings in Alberta's oil sands, and they are worth about $68 billion American. Coming in second on the list is Mukesh Ambani at $21.5 billion. Ambani currently oversees India's Reliance Industries. It owns the world's biggest refinery with a capacity of 1.24 million barrels per day. And number 3 on the list, Russian mogul Viktor Vekselberg, a good friend of Vladimir Putin's. If Vekselberg has an expensive vice, it is this: Fabergé eggs. He has 15 of them, making it the world's largest collection at a cost of $100 million. Well, speaking of innovators, Ernst & Young has announced its 2014 finalists for Entrepreneur of the Year. In the Prairie Region Energy Services category, there are 4 nominees, all of them from the Edmonton area. We will be introducing you to them over the next few weeks. First up, though, is Quinn Holtby with Catchcan Limited in Edmonton. Catchcan has been designing and manufacturing equipment to make drilling rigs safer for workers and reduce environmental impact.
Zero spill is super important to the whole industry because we cannot continue to do what we're doing to the planet, and it only makes sense as responsibility requires you to make sure that you leave the land in the same shape as you found it. And I don't think anybody has the right to destroy the environment, and I think the oil industry can set a very good example, and has in the last 20 years, in showing what we can do for a difference.
You can find the rest of our interview with Quinn Holtby on our site, iCanMedia.tv. Next week, we'll meet another one of Ernst & Young's nominees for Entrepreneur of the Year in the energy services sector for the Prairie region. The winner will be named in the fall. Well, this next story is one that really got us talking here at iCan Media. It's about a transport barge. Doesn't sound that exciting off the top, but check out this video from the company Dockwise, and I think you'll understand why we here in our newsroom were all quite amazed by what we saw. This is the Dockwise Vanguard. It's a heavy marine transport vessel. At 275 meters long, 70 feet wide, it can carry a total of 117,000 metric tons. That's almost 258 million pounds. Turns out that's enough to carry an offshore oil platform. The Dockwise Vanguard partially submerges its deck as far as 15 meters underwater. It then maneuvers underneath its cargo and resurfaces with its cargo now on its deck, ready for transportation. You can check out iCan Media TV for this stories and others, as well as links to our resources. For iCan Media, I'm Rob Hislop.